It is United States Open time. It's our national championship at probably the hardest golf course on planet Earth, according to the best players in the world, at least this week in their press conferences. So we've got a lot to talk about. Athletic, bold, commanding. That's sort of what OAKMONT is, and that's what the Equinox EV is. Chevy brings all of this to you. They are a presenting sponsor. The Equinox EV is simply awesome, and we got an awesome show because this is one of the biggest weeks of the year.
It really is. Biggest week. Biggest car brand, something about it. It's America. It's a United States Open. It's a United States car manufacturer. We absolutely love it. Everything about this, we just got off Memorial Day. We got 4th of July coming. It's hot.
Coming quickly.
There's big ballpark golf happening. There's big trucks that are manning the terrains of America. They are Chevy. They've got that emblem on the front, that bow tie. Everything right now is just coming up America and Chevy, and I feel so jacked up for the U.S. Open, man. I cannot wait. We got our guy wearing Barstool golf merch. Alistair Docherty is actually outfitted in Barstool stuff, playing in the U.S. Open with his chance to change his life at the hardest golf course, the hardest test in America, in the world. Let's go. Let's have ourselves a show. Let's have ourselves an absolutely incredible U.S. Open.
Go check out the EV, the Equinox EV. It's got the massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. It's awesome. We've used it. We've seen it. It's pretty stunning, to be honest with you. Let's have a great show. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Chevy for supporting us. And when it comes to EVs, the Chevy Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make. On a day-to-day basis, it would be just an outlandish thing for me to go over to someone after 15 holes and be like, that's what you get, you fucking bitch. Like, I don't know. All right, Fore play. Presented by Barstool Sports. It is U.S. Open time. We are here. It is, it's time to view something we don't really ever get to view, which is everyone has been going into the media center, doing interviews saying this is probably the most difficult golf course in the world. So to contextualize that, there are tens of thousands of golf courses in the world. There's thousands and thousands of golf courses here in the U.S. I can't tell you how many times we've played golf courses where we come off, we go, God, that course is impossible. You think about Bethpage Black, you think about Shinnecock, think about all kinds of different places. And from Scotty Scheffler to Rory to Bryson, folks are going up there and just saying, yeah, we're playing this week the most difficult golf course probably on planet Earth. It's OAKMONT. It's the 10th U.S. Open that they're hosting there. There's a lot of storylines going in from Scotty Scheffler trying to, kind of continue the early stages of building what might be one of the greatest careers of all time. Rory McIlroy is in just some wild post-Masters, post-Grand Slam vortex. We've got our own guy, Alistair Docherty, wearing Barstool golf merchandise in a major championship for the very first time. So it's go time, gentlemen, and we're looking for some carnage, unless you're Beef, who, he's rooting for some good scores out there.
I saw Beef saying some wild stuff about he wants everyone to just go out there and hold hands and be kumbaya and good golf, right? Like he just wants to see some birdies. He wants to see some pars. He wants to see some lag putts. This is 1 week of the year that we get to watch guys get frustrated at the game of golf just like we all are. I want to see you hang your head. I want to see you curse. I want to see you get that same frustration that we all do. Because it's the one time that as a fan we get to watch them. And even though we can't relate to how hard that golf course is, at least we can relate to the results. And that's what makes the U.S. Open unbelievably entertaining to watch. There's a different vibe for each major. And this one is when I turn on the TV, I get to send messages to my buddies and I get to take pictures of the screen of Billy Horschel wanting to drown himself in the nearest body of water. Or, like Jordan Spieth taking his clubs and looking at them and not wondering why they're not working the way that they have it for the rest of his career. There's something about it that's like, they don't know how to play the game this week.
Yeah, if it were every week this way, and that's what the pitch we were making to Beef, where it's like, yeah, we would agree with you. If it were every week, it was like, man, these golf courses just beat the shit out of these guys. But it's not. Every week we see guys. I mean, the winner is at least double-digit under par for most of the PGA Tour events. And a lot of guys are touching 20 under, 22 under. I know there's been some events where they almost touched 30 under in the last couple of years. So you guys, I'm with you guys fully, where it's 1 week out of every single year where they just throw the kitchen sink at the best golfers in the world and they try to identify them, like they said, and we get to watch it. And that is super, super, super interesting to, I would say, almost everybody who's watching.
It's so in line with Beef too. That's just who he is. He's such a nice guy. He loves the game of golf. He loves people getting better at golf. He loves people being out there enjoying golf. He's PGA professional. He legitimately got the Chicago office simulator registered so that he could have like a home and keep his PGA membership and be a PGA, professional holding member, one of 30,000. That's what he does. And that's Beef is rooting for birdies. Like he said, he's rooting for great lag putts. It's great for the show that we have because, on this, I think all three of us are aligned. A lot of people are aligned. And to hear Beef kind of hold that line is beautiful to see. Again, it's so in line with his personality. But boy, could I not disagree more. I love just hearing about a little bit of the hype going in. And I think, we got a little bit screwed on sound bites the first 3 days, Monday through Wednesday, because it's so soft. I don't think people are complaining yet. I don't think people are bitching yet. And I don't know that they really bitch a ton until it happens to them in competition. And now it's go time. Now we are going to see, there's been sun Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be sunny, sunny, sunny. They could dry this thing out and it can get a lot spicier. It could get a lot more difficult, and it's going to get a lot more difficult. I looked it up. There's only been 6 times in the last 46 years has there been a winner over par in the United States Open. I know we kind of get this feeling of Carnage every year, and it happens all the time. And there's only been a couple times in the last 46 years that someone's been higher than 1 over par. It's been since 2007 at Oakmont, since the winning score was higher than 1 over par, which was Angel Cabrera. He shot 5 over the year before. Jeff Ogilvy was also 5 over when he won at Wingfoot, and Phil collapsed on on the last hole. Before that, it was the 1978 U.S. Open at, I think, Cherry Hills when Andy North shot over par. That was the last time.
Oh my goodness.
Trey, okay?
Yeah, they're testing the fire alarms in this building, so
It
I might
worked.
have to either mute my mic and just listen to the podcast like a listener, or I might dip out of here.
Come in and out.
Yeah,
Dude, when I had
that's the plan.
I'll never forget when I had the cleaners in here and they were pretty damn quiet the whole time. And as soon as we hit record, she fired up the loudest vacuum that's ever been created right next to my goddamn eardrum in here.
I would say they're working. Like those alarms are on.
They're on. Oh, trust me, they work. I remember when I was recording an episode when I was back home for the Iowa Classic and I was staying with my folks, and we fired up the podcast, and my dad just started vacuuming. He just started vacuuming the entire house. When you enter a retired person's home, you are on their schedule. So if he vacuums at 11 a.m. Central Time, he doesn't care about a golf podcast that's going on. So whatever happens there happens, but there's a chance that that's going to happen a couple more times. So let's all just take a deep breath. I'll try not to have a heart attack every
also,
time.
Kyle could take him out from here on out.
Okay.
That could be the first time that, it really maybe lower it so people don't crash their car. But yeah.
My apologies to the listeners.
That's okay. Fair point. But yeah, I think we get this notion in our head, this belief in our head of how just like devastatingly brutal the U.S. Open is every year. And it is the hardest. It is the toughest test pretty much year in and year out. There's some years where it's soft and they go a little bit lower than maybe you thought they would go. And it depends on the course. Like at Pebble, Gary Woodland shot quite low, but it's Pebble Beach. You kind of let the course be the course. It's a little closer to like, what they do at the Open Championship, where it's like they don't really care if you're 20 under or 7 under. It's the Open. It's links golf. It's fine. And I think the PGA is that way too. U.S. Open has pretty much built itself as a defender of par. They like to defend par, even though they never say it. They never come out and say that. They never come out and say that they care about the winning score. I know, everybody listening knows that the USGA are sitting in their little committee meetings and they're talking about what they think the winning score is going to be, could be, should be, and they work towards that. I know that they're doing that, and they should be doing that because that's the identity of the tournament. That's what makes it different. Scotty Scheffler was talking yesterday in his press conference. I had a 4.5 hour Southwest flight back from Pittsburgh yesterday with no Wi-Fi, but I will give them credit that they did a huge, I want to say that the flight attendant came on the PA before we even pulled away from the gate 15 different times and reminded everyone that they're not going to have Wi-Fi. So download stuff now. I didn't really know what to download. Download a couple of movies, you panic. But what I did do is I went through the USGA YouTube website and I just downloaded everybody's press conference. So I legit was sitting there with no entertainment. And I watched like 5 straight press conferences to the point where the guy next to me was like, do you mind taking off your headphones so I could kind of hear what these guys are saying about Oakmont? And it was just Scotty, John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas. I was going through. But Scotty was talking about yesterday with the U.S. Open. He was saying, our major championships are, if you almost look at it like tennis major championships, where like they play on a different surface every single Grand Slam in tennis. You have hard court, you have grass, you have clay, you have all kinds of different stuff. And he's like, that's sort of what we do with our majors as well. So you have to embrace it. Like there's the Masters tournament, same course every year. There's obviously links golf. And the U.S. Open sort of thing is, it's going to be insanely difficult. It's going to piss you off. It's going to push you all the way to the edge and see how you can handle it. And so this is the most extreme version of that. And the reason I brought up all that context is like, all we talk about is how much farther everybody hits it now, how much better the equipment is now, how much better the training is now, how much better athletes and diet and all of it, which is true. It's true throughout all sports and it's true throughout golf. So to think that there could even be a fucking golf course now that could have a winning score, the guy that played the best out of how good all these guys are, that might be over par is almost unimaginable for how good all of these players are. So to be the best one out of 156 guys this week would only be the 7th time in the last 47 years that somebody shot over par. And we're talking like it actually might happen this week is just a testament to like how hard this golf course actually is.
Yeah, it's really impressive that the grounds crew, superintendents, all these guys and girls can figure out how to get this golf course to be this hard, because you sit here and you're acting like it's something that you've never seen before, but it's pretty standard. There's not much that they throw at you aside from just tee boxes, fairway, rough and green, and bunkers. There's not sharks that are coming across the fairways, and there's no quicksand that like if you walk in the wrong spot, you like get stuck. Like everyone's like, this is insane. It's like, take a picture of it. That's just a par 4, my brother. Like I don't know what to tell you, but like the agronomy side of it is so impressive that you watch these videos, they have these mowing teams of like, it looks like the Imperial March. Have you seen these videos of the 100 push mowers going through the rough and making sure that each blade of grass goes into each other so that it gets a little bit thicker? And like, there's all these different methods to getting this golf course. These guys have played golf every day for their entire lives, but they've stepped onto these grounds and they're like, this is a different place that I've ever seen. They've got the fairways running a different way. They got the greens running a different way. The rough is growing a different way. All of this stuff is just different and harder. And that to me is very impressive on their side.
Yeah, because when I think in the same way you do, where they talk about how hard it is, and it's guys are doing press conferences being like, man, this is a really hard golf course. But like, if you just hit the ball over that stuff, like if you like, the rough is really long, and we played it, and that video is out now, so go watch that. It's really interesting. If you want to see what a guy like me or Riggs or Francis would shoot out there, go check that out. But yeah, if you don't like, it's a place that's going to punish mistakes really, really cruelly. Like if you don't make a mistake, you just go tee to fairway onto the green. I know the greens are lightning and they're really difficult and they're really hard to read, and like that makes it more difficult, but it's the mistakes that you make, and golf is a game where you make a ton of mistakes. Even the pros aren't perfect. We see Scotty Scheffler and he's the best ball striker in 35 years and he's on this winning streak, blah, 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 but he still makes mistakes and he's an outlier. Everybody else in the field is not Scotty Scheffler. They're all going to make mistakes. And if you make a mistake at Oakmont, like if your tee ball goes 3 yards off the fairway, you're fucked. And it's really thick and you're not going to be able to get it to the green. And now the numbers start to pile up. So you can only make a golf course so hard, but the fact is you make a ton of mistakes in golf. And if you make a mistake at Oakmont, you are going to pay.
Dude, Frankie, you weren't there, but they were doing the Imperial March mowing system all day while we were playing filming our video. And I mean, dude, they do it. I'm trying to think of an example. It's almost like an old person driving. Like they're just totally impervious to what's going on in your life. They couldn't care less. And as you're like looking for your ball, chipping, like they don't interact with you. They don't laugh with you. They just barrel through with their mowers. And it's like out of nowhere, it was quiet. You're enjoying your day at Oakmont. It's peaceful. You're, chipping for double or whatever the fuck's going on. And then out of nowhere, just an army of mowers come ripping through and mow that shit. And then they're just gone. And it happened all day, like throughout the day. We saw it 10 different times, maybe.
Insane.
They don't pay attention to you because they know you're not the guys. Like
Yeah.
the guys are coming in a month. These guys we don't care about these guys. They're not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. They're preparing and have been preparing for what's gonna happen this week at Oakmont. But yeah, go watch that video because I know Justin Thomas tweeted something to the effect of like, why don't we really see how hard this place is and let people who are an 8 handicap or a 10 handicap or an 18 handicap play Oakmont. You know, I think he said the Monday after the tournament, whatever. But we did this. We played from US Open tees. The rough was about as long as it is now. I know they grew it up a little bit more, but we basically, the idea that Justin Thomas had yesterday, we thought about a month ago and we're like, people are going to want to see this, and we filmed it.
Yep.
I would say the course was, because I was out there yesterday with Alistair, walked almost the entire back nine with him and Brady Calkins, who qualified out of Washington. Walla Walla is where he qualified, which is just a great name. I enjoy saying it. But I would say the course on like Monday during the practice round this week was very, very similar condition-wise to when we filmed. The only difference was the greens were a little slower when we filmed. So other than that, they had gotten a ton of rain. So the rough was like insanely luscious, healthy, and just brought us to our knees. I mean, the rough was like laughable trying to play out of it. And dude, I'm playing desert golf or I'm playing Pinehurst golf most of the time. Rough doesn't exist. So then you're out there and you got 4 or 5 inch rough that is just wet and healthy, and you don't know how to get it out of there. You're trying to hit like an 8 iron. Like I watched this guy, Brady, who's a mini tour legend in the Pacific Northwest. He's awesome. He qualified for the US Open. I watched him try to hit an 8 iron out of the rough on the 10th hole, which was their first hole yesterday. And it went maybe 40 yards, just low left into the lip of a bunker. And it was like auto double, maybe triple from there. And he really didn't hit a bad shot, it felt like. And so that rough just absolutely murdered us. And it is right up JT. What do you say? It's like, you could make the greens a couple feet faster in terms of the stemp meter, but otherwise, and the tournament conditions, they're going to try to get a little faster in terms of the fairways, more firm and all that as they go throughout the week. But from that Monday practice round, it was pretty damn similar conditions to what we played it a month ago when we filmed. And it was just hilariously hard. And it's almost like you want people to understand how hard it is. So like you want us to struggle, and you didn't have to force anything to struggle out there. It was like every hole, dude, if you didn't hit a great tee shot, Frankie, which again, like we can, sometimes you pipe one, sometimes you hit horrible tee shot, whatever. Like you hit a mediocre squirrely tee shot that in a normal par 4 that we normally play, maybe I'd have like a mid long iron in from the rough that I'd have to like hit under a tree, but I get it up near the green. This time you're like 260 out in rough that you can't hit longer than like 30 yards in the air. And there's 40 bunkers between you and the fairway and the green. That's also, like, you're like, what am I going to do here?
So it's also such an interesting place where I didn't lose a ball all day, but I got my absolute dick kicked in. Like it's right, you know, there's not a ton of water. There's not the only way you're going to lose a ball is if it gets too buried in the rough, which is certainly possible. But yeah, it was, I'm really interested. And I really am excited for people to watch that video because it's an experience playing that golf course.
I mean, Francis went with you guys and he shot a score that I think you might see in the US Open, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I mean, we don't want to give the whole thing away, but Francis shot that score and Francis played great. Like, honestly, played great. He was driving it well. He like holed long putts from the fringe or off the green a couple times. He played fantastic and shot. You know, I've told a bunch of my buddies over the last couple of weeks about like what each one of our scores was. And they were like, that feels like he shot under par. Like he played phenomenal. And it's still just so unbelievably difficult. It was also, there was like a storm blowing in. So we got like some of that wind. It was like quite windy for maybe 6 holes, which is what it was also. Again, I noticed out at Oakmont, it's wide open. They got no trees anymore. So like it gets windy across that valley. And I think people need to go to the YouTube and watch that because it truly is 3 weekend warrior golfers out there at the hardest course in the world, playing it from the tips in very similar US Open conditions. And we got our dicks kicked in. And it was like, oh, this is why they call it that. But yeah, so my observations from being inside the ropes, watching these guys play it is really interesting. Like I do think if you hit fairways, guys will have birdie looks and make birdies. Like, honestly, it's really in the very first hole, 10th hole is a great example. It's like we're out there. I was telling you guys, I was telling Frankie before we started recording a little bit. It's like I have such this nervous anxiety with Alistair, where like he's a buddy. We have beers together, we play golf together, we talk about life together, and we follow his journey together. You guys have been a part of that. Our whole production crew has been a part of that. All the fans are kind of following Alistair. And then like you see him and you're like, well, he can't be like, he's not Rory, right? He's not like Scott. He's Alistair. He's our buddy. And then I'm out there watching him on the range. You get this nervous anxiety of like, dude, it's the U.S. Open. Like when I first met this guy, he's caddying at Silverleaf and he's playing recreational golf with me and Hanky. And like now he's at the U.S. Open at OAKMONT. And then I'm watching him on this driving range and he's got his little quad right there that's got all the launch monitor data and all that. And I mean, he is just, first of all, he's hitting wedges for like, it's like 20 or 30 wedges and just a perfect little divot pattern where I said to our buddy Sean, right, who's right next to me, I was like, I would have had more of an impact on this earth in one swing than Alistair just had with 20, 25 wedges in a row, like clipped with a tiny, tiny little divot over and over and over again. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this guy's really sick. And then he starts hitting his hitting this like long iron thing that he's got that's a 2 or 3 iron. It's going like whatever, 240, 250, chasing out, dead straight, he's hitting a draw, he's hitting a cut. And then it's like he pulls out his driver and he's experimenting. One of the reps is there and he's like, I got this new head for you that I kind of tweaked the loft a little bit, puts it on, and just piss missile draw like 4 straight in a row that go like 315, 320 in the air. He's touching like 181, 182 mile an hour ball speed, hitting these tight draws dead straight. And I'm like, he's going to win the fucking US Open.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy, he's going to shoot 20 under. What golf course could possibly tame this? This is insanity. And we go to the first hole, and the 10th hole, again, I don't want to give everything away, but the 10th hole at OAKMONT, like I think I made like an 8 there on the 10th hole and didn't really feel like I played it that poorly,
Yeah.
And Al stands up there and just rips this iron on like a 450 yard, 460 yard par 4, rips this iron down the middle, has a wedge into the green, hits it, that lands on the apron short, bounces up, checks, still rolls out 20 feet. So he's got like 15 feet up the hill for birdie, makes it and makes birdie. And I'm like, he's winning the fucking, I mean,
he's going to do it.
Are people watching this? I'm looking around at the gallery. I'm like, do you see this fucking guy? He's wearing our gear. He's got pink pants on. He's got a blue hat, even though he thought it was black. He's like making birdies. I was like, this guy is unbelievable. And then he played well, very well for the first 6, the only 6 holes that I saw him play on the back nine, maybe 6 or 7 holes. He was probably even or 1 over total. But again, they're not like, it's a practice round. They're hitting a million different chips, balls. So it's not like he's exactly playing his ball. The biggest thing that I did, a couple of my biggest takeaways were the greens they're next level different than they were when we were there, because they are that 2 or 3 feet faster in terms of the rollout. And dude, getting the ball to stop anywhere near the hole is honestly like, it feels like a crapshoot, like a total crapshoot. And obviously on the approach shots, even out of the fairway, it's easier because they can spin it. Of course, everybody knows that. And it's not that they're going to like hit approach shots that end up like in water. There's no water, but it's like they hit what looks like a really good short iron, whatever, in there. And it just misses like the ridge by a little. And instead of being like, oh, okay, now he's got 20 feet instead of like 5 feet. It's like he's got 45 feet and it's like a triple breaker that you have to hit perfectly. That like is a really hard 2-putt. And it's the same thing with chipping. It's actually harder. Like it's harder chipping to get the ball close than it is from 160 yards in the fairway a lot of times, because it is just such a crapshoot and the greens are so severe that was the biggest thing that I really did notice. It was like these guys, and Brady too, these guys are qualifiers. They got through final stage. They're not clearly on like Scotty and Rory level yet. They're still able to drive it straight and far, and they're hitting a decent amount of fairways. And dude, when they would barely miss a fairway, they're fucked. They were just fucked. And I mean like bunkers, rough. Like there's I think it's the 15th hole. That's like 507 yard par 4. And, it's got church pew bunkers up the left. And the fairway is pitched so severely left to right that we watched Brady step up first, and he absolutely pissed on a driver just up the dead center of the fairway. And then Alistair pulls mini driver and rips like a baby cut up the left side that barely catches the left side of the fairway. We get up there. Alistair's ball is barely short of the right first cut. And Brady's ball is in a ditch of knee-high fescue rough. And he hit his drive down the middle of the fairway, 310 yards, or whatever the hell it was. And he's like chipping out sideways, then hits one up there that barely misses the green. He's like chips up, and he's got whatever, 10 feet with like a foot of break for bogey. And you're like, he didn't miss a shot. The guy hit the ball perfectly on the hole. And Alistair, like, dude, Alistair and his caddy Tater, who's a beauty, it's like, it was so fun to be with him because they're talking through strategy. And Tater said, he's like, I honestly think we might just hit iron on this hole because Al just hit a mini driver that he hit perfectly. And we all thought like he missed it left, not missed the fairway left, but he missed his target line left. And he barely hung on the fairway. And 3 feet away from the fairway is like this ditch that he's like, I didn't even know there was a ditch there. I was like, what? Where'd that come from? So it's just so hard to understand like the slopes. And Trent, we were out at Longview. Like that's just that topography in that part of the country. Everything's a side hill lie. Like, correct. Dude, the fairways, even at this Longview, which is 15 minutes away from Oakmont, was like nobody had a straight. You're on the side of a mountain the whole time. And Oakmont's kind of that way the whole time. So that was sort of my biggest takeaway was like, yeah, when you and these guys all hit it far enough now, and the fairways, even though they're wet for Oakmont, are like they chase enough that anytime anyone hits anything in the fairway, they're pretty much going to have like a mid or short iron or wedge into these greens that are perfect greens, and they're going to be able to have some birdie luck. So I just think it's going to be really interesting where I think you're almost going to see some streakiness a good amount where it's like a guy's going to be on with, you know, his ball striking, and you'll see he'll make 3 or 4 birdies in 4, 5, 6 holes and then be just a little bit off with his driver or his 3-wood, you know, over the next 5 holes and make 5 bogeys in a row. Cause it's just like, it really is that fine of a line, but there's birdies out there, man. Like Alistair had plenty of really good birdie looks. He made the birdie on 10. I thought he made a birdie on 13, which was the par 3. He hit a great, like, you know, he hits 185 yards up the hill into the wind. He hit like an 8 iron to like 10 feet and almost makes it. You're just like, all right, these guys can just, they can play their game. So there is some luck involved. You know, I know Ben Griffin said that. I think that luck probably evens out over 72 holes, but it is a decent amount of luck involved in terms of like 2 guys could hit a drive that's pretty much on the same line, and one of them bounces into the rough and the other one stays in the first cut, and that person's able to have a good birdie look and the other guy's grinding to make bogey, you know, and it's like that's just can be the difference out there. But dude, it is fucking hard. It's going to rattle people. The amount of head shaking that I saw, even from these 2 guys who comparatively probably have, you know, less expectations than some of these tour guys who have won major championships and whatnot. And they're out there just scratching their head. They're shaking their head. It's frustrating. And it is just like you're watching in real time what it's going to take mentally for someone to actually persevere and win after 72 holes. And it's like you have to be so patient. You have to be accepting. You have to understand that like dog shit is going to occur, like where it shouldn't occur probably in your mind. You're like, I'm such a good golfer. I hit the ball dead straight. I hit it really far. I practice all the time. How come I continue to get fucked 4 holes in a row? And that's like really hard for these guys to take. And it's going to be really, really fun to watch people try to figure this place out.
That's what's going to be great. And what professional golfers do, I feel like they practice so much, is to take luck out of it. And they want to try to control everything around them, every shot. Where's it going? Where's it going to end up? And then when they get to a spot where they think they hit a good shot and it ends up in knee-high rough, that is where you're going to see the head shaking. Like that's where I need a camera on Bryson DeChambeau. When he hits what he thinks is the perfect shot and ends up in knee-high rough, we're going to get one of the great clips of the year. And it's going to happen to him, and it's going to happen to Scotty, and it's going to happen to JT, and it's going to happen to Rory. It's going to happen to all these guys. And I think that is part of the allure and why we're on the side of I want crazy shit to happen, because we so frequently see these guys take luck almost completely out of the game. And they would argue that, like, if I hit a good shot, I should have a good result. And there's something to that. And, you know, 51 other weeks of the year, you're probably right. But when you're at Oakmont and you're hitting on these crazy fairways and these crazy greens in this crazy rough, you're going to get some bad bounces. And I just can't wait to see the reactions from the top of world-class golfers when those things happen.
Yeah, the takeaway that when I hit a good shot, I should get a good result is all just relative to what golf course you're playing. I don't understand that take where it's like, well, you didn't hit a good shot for this golf course. You're supposed to land it short and have it check up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You've you tried to flag it and it just doesn't work here. Would you say that at Scotland at St. Andrews, if you tried to nip like a 60-degree wedge up there on those greens when they say to play the bump and run or putt from off the greens, like, no, you wouldn't. But here at Oakmont, it feels like, because it's like an American golf course, it's right in the middle of Pennsylvania, it's a US Open, like they're saying like, oh, we should be able to get rewarded for some of these shots. No, just hit it straighter, hit it in the spots you have to hit it. Everything's relative to the golf course you're playing. So I'm excited to hear the irrational takeaways from guys that played poorly, instead of just being like, no, yeah, like this course just called for a certain type of game and I just didn't play it. Like that should be the takeaway, is that like I just didn't bring what Oakmont, needed.
For sure. And we talked a little bit on the last show about the thing that makes some of these guys great is the delusion that it's never them, that it's what they are doing is the right thing. They just got unlucky. They got a bad bounce. So you are right. Like if, you're playing these practice rounds and you're getting to know the golf course and you're trying to figure it out as much as you can, you and your caddy, or there's a reason you're doing that, is because you want to hit the right shots to get the right results. But you're not going to be able to do that for every speck of the golf course. So there are going to be times where they feel like they hit the right shot and it doesn't end up the right way. And in their heads, they're thinking, well, I did the right thing here and I got fucked by the golf course. That's when they've lost the golf course at Shinnecock. You get all of that because guys just start to be like, well, I'm really, really good at this game. So something out there's clearly some fuckery happening. And for guys like us, I love that shit. Like I cannot wait for the press conferences. I can't wait for the hot mics, all of it.
No, same. And I remember Shinnecock in 2018. I remember one of the USGA folks, I believe, is who said this, but they were making the comparison where, let's call it like the 12th hole or something, where they're like, if you miss short right there on the 12th hole, it's just like tight lie, fairway, and a bunker over there. And if you miss that bunker, you're below the bunker. You got to chip up over the green, which is impossible because it runs away from you. So if you miss short right there, your ball's just sitting there. It's like 30 feet away from the pin and it's on ground. It's on grass. However, that area is dead. You literally cannot get the ball anywhere near the hole from there. You almost have to putt it backwards, like down the fairway, and then try to get up and down from a reasonable spot, or hit it to 30 feet above the hole and try to keep your putt on the hole. And they're like, players bitch about that because they're like, this is unfair. I'm here. But they're like, if you were playing at Bay Hill, where that's just water for short, right? Yeah. And your ball was just in water, you wouldn't complain because as the player, well, if I hit the ball into the water, I cannot get up and down. My ball is in a pond. I cannot, unless I have a scuba gear and I swim, I just can't get up and down. And they're like, so how come if that's just not water, but it's grass, but the penalty is the same, people complain? And it is this mentality that you build in your head of like, what should be fair, what shouldn't, because of what you experience week in and week out. And that's why the mental test of this is so cool to witness and play out. And if you are someone who pays a ton of attention to competitive golf and you watch these guys week in and week out, watching a different test and watching it play out mentally is so unbelievably fascinating and fun to watch, how they truly try to strategize and work their way mentally through this course, this puzzle. And we talked about it as a course, right? A golf course it's not a hockey rink or an NFL like field where it's just the same thing. And it's a course that is it's like an obstacle course or a maze. It's like, it is a course, and each course is different. A course is set up to test you. Like, that's literally the definition of a course. And this one just happens to be really fucking harder than the others. And it's asking different tests and different questions than you normally get asked. The pressure is building. The greens are lightning fast. A major week of golf is underway in Pennsylvania, and the world's best are ready to rise to the moment. If you want your shot at a win while the pros go low, well, guess what? DraftKings Sportsbook is your home for every swing, every birdie, and every clutch putt. Whether you're betting live, exploring tournament props, or jumping on odds boosts, DraftKings has everything you need to get in the game all tournament long. And if you're new to the golf betting, guess what? You can keep it really simple. It's a breeze. Just pick a player to win, ride the action from the first tee to the final putt. And here's the real birdie for you. New customers out there, so listen up. New customers can bet $5 to win $300 in bonus bets if your first bet hits.
Yeah, we talk a lot about who we want to take on the DraftKings Sportsbook during the show. A lot of Bryson talk, some John Rahm talk, a lot of Scotty Scheffler talk, although he's clearly the favorite. So, yeah, get involved. Go on there. Take a look. There's obviously a lot of great props. I'm once again on the 2 or more holes in one bet because I forgot to take it during the PGA, so I want to redeem myself at the US Open. So yeah, go on there and just take a look around. I guarantee you'll find something you want to get interested in.
We gave some nice winners this year.
You look at it right now, you see those winners. You got Sky Scheffler plus 275. You got Bryson plus 750. Then there's a huge drop off to John Rahm. He's 12-1. Rory 12-1. Xander 22-1. Like, come on, man. There's a lot of value out there. But Scotty Scheffler could just be that horse that's just never. He's gonna go wire to wire. He's a horse, man. He's a freaking thoroughbred.
And if you you don't want to wait all weekend long, you kind of want to have some skin in the game, get win or lose a little quicker. You could do daily matchups. You could bet players over under score each day. You could bet. It's just there's all kinds of options, and DraftKings brings it to you. And new customers can bet $5 to win $300 in bonus bets if your bet hits. Don't miss out on all the action in Pennsylvania. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code FORE. That's FORE for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Row Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for stronger, harder erections. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under the tongue, and getting hard faster means having more sex. It's that simple. That's just science. That's anatomy, I believe, is what we call that. After they dissolve, they work in 15 minutes on average. Row Sparks can give guys thicker, longer erections than you usually have because they get fuller. Row Sparks give you the boost to last longer, so it's more fun for you both. Row stays active in your system for up to 36 hours. Go back to back to back. You just keep going there, Trent.
Yeah, back to back to back. Seems like it's the easy process. Get it done. Thicker, longer erections. That's what everybody's looking for.
That's what everybody's looking for. Round after round, be ready for the morning after, whatever it is. Be ready to play with Row Sparks. With Row Sparks, you can get the erection you have always wanted. Row connects guys with a medical provider 100% online. There's no awkward conversations with in-person providers. If approved, treatment ships directly to your door. Connect with a provider at row.co/foreplay to find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. That is ro.co/foreplay, and find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. And you're going to get $15, by the way, off of your first order. That is ro.co/foreplay for $15 off your first order. And Rory, who we got a lot to talk about on Rory, as we always do, which is great. But Rory was talking about how he had, several really poor performances in U.S. Opens in a row. And then, he used the example of, I think it was 2017, where he went to Erin Hills. He had the comments about, like, if you can't hit 50-yard wide fairways, you probably shouldn't be here. And then he missed the cut and played terribly. And then he said the very next week was the Travelers Championship. And I went out there and I felt incredibly good and comfortable. And he's like, it actually led me to completely change my mindset. And I had to figure out how to rebuild my game around being the best at the hardest tests. And he was like, I wasn't doing it for years. I wasn't doing it. I had this mantra of I could play soft, easy courses. When it rained, I could win the US Open, but when it didn't, I simply couldn't do, I couldn't play it the way that other players believe that I should be able to play it or whatever. And he went and completely changed his game and his mindset so that he could, from there on out, compete. And ever since then, he's had a top 10 every single year in the US Open. He's had back-to-back solo second place finishes. And it is like, it's such a different, it's asking something so much different than they get asked week in and week out. And he said that the reason he brought up the Travelers is like, I realized I was so comfortable on PGA Tour setups week in and week out, and I just wasn't comfortable on US Open setups and hard major championship setups. So I had to figure that out. And for him to compete at the US Open at Pinehurst, where it was burned out, there was no rough, the ball was running. It was the opposite of like a soft golf course, parkland, doesn't play like a typical American parkland course. For him to compete and should have won that event is like a testament to him turning his game around and kind of what you need to have at the US Open. And so I just think it's so fascinating to be able to watch these players handle the test. You have to change your barometer now for like what is acceptable and what is going to make you happy. And you have to realize on week in, week out basis, like if they're not posting 2 or 3 or 5 under, they're upset and they're losing on the field. Whereas here, it's like, dude, if you hit a poor tee shot and you got out of there with a bogey, you did fucking great. Like, that's great. And if you can, you know what I mean? That's what you have to change. And that's very fun to watch.
It's also got to be scary for guys coming into this week who don't feel great about their games, because I think you could go into like a regular tour event and not feel great. And maybe you play better than you thought, or maybe you play really poorly and you shoot like 75 and you go home. You go into Oakmont not feeling good and you don't play well, you could shoot a 95 out there and be the laughing stock of everything and everyone on the internet. So that to me is really interesting. Now, no, but I don't think anybody's going to admit to like, yeah, I'm coming into this week and I don't feel good and I'm nervous and I feel like I'm going to throw up on myself. But you're going to see guys go out there, because certainly there's guys in that boat, and maybe a lot of them are, and then one guy or two guys or three guys are going to have the worst professional golf weekend of their lives. And that's, I feel bad saying like, I can't wait to see that, but like, it's got to be somebody, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Rory came out and said, what, he shot like an 81 in a practice round?
He did.
Yep.
I mean, that's an outrageous number. Not to make this about myself, but I think I nailed the Rory McIlroy Masters.
Nailed it.
I mean, when we had the podcast with Cal Clutterbuck, I brought it up. Like, there were two options that would happen. It was either that this guy was going to go into the rest of the year with the monkey off his back, and that Rory McIlroy was going to be this unhinged, like, superstar that was going to absolutely just tear up the PGA Tour, or it was going to be, and I actually think I said verbatim, that there is no more motivation, or the motivation that it took to achieve that lifetime achievement of finally getting the Masters, all that work that he put in to get that done. Once that's behind you and you've moved beyond that, is that motivation still in there? And honestly, that might just be like a subconscious human thing that just changes inside of him, that he can't wrangle or affect himself. It's just like this weight and this stress just releases. And in that weight and stress was something that helped him like play better golf. I think, like, honestly, I really do. I think it took him to another level. It was like a focus thing. You're trying to climb this mountain and you see this end goal, this end result that you want to get to. And when you finally get to that summit, like what else is there for you, especially for a guy like Rory, where that's the only thing he cared about. So the guy has been playing horrific. You know what I mean? He's like a horrible golfer right now. So I don't know. It should be interesting to see how he plays at the US Open, but I'm telling you, man, there is a hangover right now.
You were the most right person ever with that. And I would say, like, you were even more right than I think you thought you could be right. He is gone, this guy. I mean, I watched his presser.
He had the same quote that I did. He's like, yeah, when you finish a lifetime achievement or stuff like that, it's really hard to like get the motivation. I'm like, holy shit.
He is floating a little bit like the guy in Office Space after he gets hypnotized, where he's just sort of floating through everything now, where he's like, yeah, man, nothing kind of matters anymore, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude,
you nailed it.
We had this whole conversation on the last pod with Beef about like Rory, and and we did have the conversation about, is it like weird winning the Masters and then having to like keep battling more when you kind of want to celebrate? It's like you won your Super Bowl, but then you got to play a game on Tuesday night. We talked about all that. And then like they said that on the live from, and Rory said that in his interview where he was like, am I not? He's like, it's weird. Like you win the match. Like I do feel like I'm afforded the opportunity to like relax and enjoy it. And then he finished that by being like, but I guess you can't really relax at Oakmont. Now I'm watching that being like, this guy, you should have just taken the year off. Take the fucking year off. You won the Masters, but you can't. I mean, you can't take the year off.
Riggs made a great point on the last show of, if his final leg of the Grand Slam, of the career Grand Slam, were the Open Championship and he won that, his next 7 months, he can do nothing. He can go to Ireland. He can go to London. He can go to Mars. He can go wherever he wants and nobody cares. It's just that it's just so happened that his career Grand Slam was the Masters. He won it. And yeah, bang, now we're back at the Memorial. Oh, he didn't show up. He didn't even call Jack. Boom, he's not doing press. Like he's floating. Like I think we're all allowing him to do so. I think he should be allowed to do that. but the golf season is still happening. People are at Muirfield Village drinking milkshakes, and Rory's nowhere to be found. And people are like, where is this guy? And, you know, if he wanted to, like we were saying also, that if it were the 1930s and he did this and he was like, peace, I'm out till the Ryder Cup, no one would care because there's no news cycle, there's no Twitter, there's no Instagram. But now, every day when Rory doesn't show up somewhere or says, like, I just kind of feel like I want to do nothing, it's like a 3-day news cycle. And he's like, fuck it. It's actually easier for me if I just go show up, shoot an 81 at a practice round. So people are just like, all right, he's around.
It's a what have you done for me lately type of society. I mean, the guy
Big time.
The guy was on top of the sports world, and all of a sudden we're talking about him not answering Jack's call or calling Jack. And it's like now he's like in the weeds again. It's like, you know, you have that moment. You're on Jimmy Fallon, you're wearing the green jacket everywhere, and everyone's like, "Well, why are you not playing good anymore now?" Is you know, like why are you not still doing that? And the only guy that's really been able to stay on top of it has been Scotty Scheffler, which, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are. I'm excited to watch a lot of guys out there at Oakmont. I think everyone is in the same boat where Scotty's going to be the most fun to be able to watch because of how consistent he is. How does the best player in the world, who is by far the best player right now, consistency wise, and just what he's been able to accomplish over the last couple of years, how does he perform at the toughest test, will be the thing to watch. I think obviously there's a lot of great storylines going in. A lot of good guys are playing solid golf. Obviously, Bryson, to me, I think I told you guys I think I'm going to bet him. I should have bet him a couple of weeks ago. I didn't, but I'll be putting that in today, I think.
I have an announcement on my pick for the week, and it's kind of it's a bold pick.
You picking Alistair to win?
No, okay. I did sprinkle some on that though. It is plus 600 is Scotty Scheffler to win by 3 or more shots is what I've picked for the week.
Do you see a week with a bet like that? Are you seeing a week where he's the only guy who finishes under par?
I think it almost might be like Tiger at Pebble Beach. I mean, not a Tiger won by 15, you know, but I just could see Scotty going out there methodically, posting a couple rounds around even or 1 over, and then having that one round where he shoots like 4 under and coming in at 2 or 3 under for the week. And the next closest guy is like 5 over par, and Scotty just wins. And you know, I was kind of feeling that coming in. I have, if you want to fade, if you're into fading people, the only time I've bet on Scotty in the last 5 weeks has been the one tournament that he did not win. So, you know, keep that in mind. But man, I'm watching the live from stuff, and you know, they're just going through everything, and they're all their conclusion is like Scotty's just going to win, and he's probably going to win by a lot. I just think like the mentality part of it is huge. I'm watching PGA Championship, the harder and harder that thing got, Scotty got better and better. I'm watching Memorial, the harder and harder that thing got, the better and better Scotty Scheffler got. And then this Oakmont is, you know, they're going again. They're kind of going through, and I'm probably a little bit of a victim of the I didn't have any Wi-Fi on this plane, so that's all I've been consuming is this shit. But they're talking about Scotty is building a career that is so different than the ones that the other guys have built. And they went through and they compared all of the strokes gained stats of all of the guys who have gotten to number 1 in the world over the last like 10 years. And they go through Justin Thomas and they go through Jordan Spieth, and they're comparing it. And they're like, the only guy that really stands out again in this entire last 10, 12-year stretch is Scotty Scheffler, because his numbers are significantly even better than the other guys' numbers when they were number 1. And then they're just combing through, and they're being like, not only that, he's got 16 wins in the last less than 4 years, and he's got 3 majors. He's got the gold medal. He's proven to be able to do it in the toughest moments at the toughest places. And a big part of that, yes, it's all the skill. He's got the ball striking. He's now one of the best putters in the world, which is hilarious and unfair. He's got all of the short game is outrageous. But they're talking about like mentally, he's just proven too to be that much tougher than all the other guys, and that's what it's going to take at Oakmont. And so it's not a hot take. It's not going out on a limb, but the way that I did think I could spice it up a little bit is I think Scotty, I'm hoping now, because I've wagered on it, if Alistair doesn't win, if in some case he doesn't win the event, I think Scotty Scheffler by 3 or more is the wager that I've taken. I just think, dude, then think about that storyline. He'll be going for the career Grand Slam going into the going into the Open Championship if he wins this week, which would be like he could just cuck Rory's year, and then Rory's got to come back from Ibiza or wherever and be like, well, I guess I got to fucking respond to this. This Scotty guy is going on such a tear. But man, I'm looking at the winners that Oakmont. It only comes here every 10 years or so, which I know they come here a lot. It's the most ever, but every 10 years or so. So like winning at Oakmont, if you look at the names that have done that, of like Jack Nicklaus and like Ben Hogan, some of these massive names that have won at Oakmont, it's like I feel like Scotty Scheffler is going to have that type of career that he's a win at Oakmont is a thing. So yeah, I just again, it's not a hot take, but I really like Scotty Scheffler.
Rory's like floating in space with Katy Perry on like that crazy Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Let's go into space for 9 seconds. Let's do it. Yeah, no, it's Scotty is. It almost feels like he's not even a part of the field. That's how good his numbers are, and that's how good they've been. So I can understand a bet like that for sure.
What a bet though, coming down the last couple holes. Like, if he is to win by 3 is chaotic, because if he just like lags it up there and makes like, you know, he has a 3-stroke lead and just like lags up there and makes a bogey and wins by 2. You know what I mean? Like he's just like he has a knee knocker and he just doesn't care about it.
Crushed.
Well, you actually would also win that one too, because when we did the snake draft for DraftKings, you did this at the PGA too, and this one paid out where it's the winner to bogey the last hole.
No,
so you're going to be
than that. It's anything other than a par.
That's right. That's what it was.
They gave me a better bet this time. It's like plus 110 or something, or 120, so and it's anything other than a par.
If he's up 3 standing on the 18th tee, which one are you rooting more for? Which one you got more skin in the game? The plus 600?
Scotty to win by $1 billion. I hope he holds it from the fairway for eagle and wins by 5, if that's the case. You know what I mean? This guy just trounced the field, this man, you know? But yeah, that could be a real issue. Scotty has had a problem when he's up by 1 million strokes finishing out on the last hole. I don't know if he loses focus. I don't know if I need to I might fly out there Saturday night and go talk to him on the tee. Like,
he sees everything. It all becomes real.
I got to bring a big black tarp and be like, nope, you can't look at any of this shit. I need you to lock it in here, buddy. We need a birdie on 18 so that I can cash all these bets. But yeah, man, Scotty Scheffler at Oakmont. I just see it. I could see it. I could see him up there. His portrait in that old school locker room. I could just see it, man. Scotty Scheffler.
When you're forecasting like what you're going to bet or what you're looking forward to in a major, you always just like can picture the guys that are going to do well. For Scotty, you in your mind, you can't see him not being in contention at any tournament he plays. But then I also get these like glimpses of just visual cues of him frustrated and him just like kind of like smacking his leg and looking at Ted Scott being like, I don't get it, because this place is so outrageous. Like sometimes things just get under his skin. He's still able to kind of level it out and kind of like, you know, go with the flow a little bit, but there are times where he gets frustrated, and you've seen it, where he can't believe the golf course is doing some of the things that it's doing, where he'll fly a green and be like, that was a 9, you know what I mean? Like he looks at that guy like, that was a 9 iron.
Yeah,
fucking kidding me? Like
definitely,
he goes nuts. So I do see that as well, but
don't get me wrong, I'm nervous.
Like I think that's the same nerve for all 100 and how many people are playing the U.S. Open?
156, I think.
Number.
So many.
I know.
156 players. Every single person is going to be rattled. I don't think anyone's going to be calm, cool, and collected out there. His ball striking is so goddamn consistent. I can't see him hitting it out of the rough as much as the other guys. So I'll be placing a little wager on him as well. I do think Bryson has been knocking on the door at these majors, so much so, and he's obviously a U.S. Open aficionado. This guy's crazy at the U.S. Open. When the toughest test comes to his door, he's opening it and he's sitting down with it and he's having a nice steak and a protein shake with it. So I mean, at this time, I do like Bryson this week. I really do. He also has been like very, very vocal on social media, posting videos in the rough. He did a hole with me. He did 9 holes where on his Instagram where it looked pretty easy. Like it looked pretty easy. He's just hitting greens. He's 2-putting. Dude, the guy's legit, man. Bryson DeChambeau is playing some real good golf.
I'm worried about that man. I'm worried about that man a lot.
Yeah. I don't have a feel for who I want to win. I think in our draft, I just threw out Rory just because I want all of this negativity to motivate him back into a focused state. Because right now, like we talked about, he's a little floaty.
La La Land.
He's a La La Land guy right now, which he's well deserved, very well deserved. So I don't have a I don't have a full
dude,
feeling on who I'm going to bet yet, so we'll see. But Bryson, I don't hate that at all, just
I
because he
might
loves the
bet
US Open.
Scotty and then just be pissed when Bryson wins.
Dude, I might. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little Bryson DeChambeau top 5 is plus 160. I'm looking at right now.
That's pretty good.
I like that. That's a little plus money there. Yeah, I just
you
like
got to look out
Scotty
for a
lot
guy like
this
him
week.
though. If when he blows his top, he loses focus in a hurry. So like if he gets things if things happen to him that he deems are unfair, sometimes it's hard to pull him out of that rut.
He might have
Yeah.
all of Oakmont on his side though. It might be like a home, like him at the U.S. Open's like a home game, and he feeds off of good energy.
Loves it.
He's
dude.
running
Loves
around.
it.
He's high-fiving kids. He won at Pinehurst. He's coming into Oakmont. Like there's something about this juice that Bryson just generates. He's squeezing all these freaking lemons into a nice cup. He's
Man,
drinking
you win
it up.
3 U.S. Opens at his age is like wow.
Oh,
That's
I don't
like
even-
he's Mr. USGA.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, and I probably never will. But that's got to be an accomplishment that
Did
most
Bryson
people
win
don't
any
pull
other
off.
USGA events coming up? Did he win like?
Yeah, he won the US Am.
won the
won the
Amateur.
US Am?
Won the U.S. Amateur.
Mr. USGA. I'm betting Bryson DeChambeau, man. If I lose to Scotty, you lose to Scotty. People lose to Scotty for like 3 years straight. Everyone's losing to Scotty. I'll just add me to the list. Put me on your list. What did Fred Couples say to Trent Ryan for breaking 90? He goes, we did that video where we had all the pros send in hype videos for Trent to break 90.
I made an 8 on the first hole.
And he made an 8 on the first hole and it was over. But he did make his first birdie that day. And Freddie Couples was one of the videos. And he's like, Trent, Fred Couples here. He's like, I'm out here. I'm enjoying the nice weather. I hear you're trying to break 90. He goes, good luck. And if you don't, take me off your list. Like, don't ever call me again for this stupid shit if you can't break 90. It's a great video. I gotta try and find that.
They've got. I'm looking at the
That is-
DraftKings Sportsbook right now. You got Scotty at plus 275. You got Bryson at plus 750. Then Rahm's way up there. People they got a lot of confidence in Rahm right now, which I don't hate either. I kind of feel like he's got to get one of these. You know,
So
another
yeah,
one. I should say.
Yeah, I went through. I was just kind of going through these top 20 names or so, and I'll go through real quick just if anybody cares about my opinion. I like Scotty, obviously. I like Bryson. I like John Rahm. I don't like Rory. I don't love Xander. I don't love Colin. I don't love I love these people as humans, but just not this week.
Sure.
I don't love Joaquin Neiman. I don't love Ludd. I do love Tommy. I do love Shane Lowry. Don't love Sepp. Don't love JT. Don't love Cantlay. Don't love Corey Connors. Don't love Brooks. Don't love Victor. Don't love Tyrrell Hatton. And then it kind of gets to the point. I kind of like Ben Griffin. I think I took him maybe top 10 or top 20 this week. But outside of that, again, it's a crapshoot. Any of these names could be up there. Aaron Baddeley in 2007 was like leading the tournament. So you never know. But that's kind of how I feel in general. And Rahm is on that list for me. I could see him, dude. He's been driving the golf ball really well. And I could see him contending. He's coming off that PGA where he was in the mix. And yeah, I like John Rahm a lot this week.
I had a guy. We did the Steel City Scramble on Monday. Great golf course. Great people. Huge Pittsburgh
Really cool.
fans. Really fun. I had a guy leaving when he was leaving the golf course. He was in his car driving away, and I was on the putting green, just sort of waving goodbye to everyone. And he stuck his head out the window, and all he said was Sepp Straka. So I might have to put a little bit on Sepp, because imagine Sepp wins and I don't listen to that guy. I won't put a ton on it, but I'll put something on it. He just leaned out the window and he said Sepp Straka. So
I'll toss.
I'm going to put a little bit on that too.
yeah,
come on.
you got to toss something. That's the crack. That's the research we do on this show. Just guys with their heads out the window being like, here's the name.
DK partner, I did put $50 on Mr. Docherty to win $50,000. So that would be
What a hit that would be.
that'd be a big one.
We don't have to go through it all that long, but like, what happens if that happens? You know, like what actually happens?
You know, first of all, you know, I would fly back for the weekend if he's in the mix. He's got to be pretty in the mix, but if he's up there, so I don't like hit. So I guess he would probably break down. His family would be there.
Yeah.
He would be unbelievably emotional man. I think then, dude, he would get dragged through so much media over the next couple hours. And then, dude, you know, he would have his tour card for at least 2 years. I think you get like a 5-year exemption into the other majors, with maybe the exception of like the Masters. I think you get like a 10-year exemption at the U.S. Open. So he'd probably be on fucking what? Would he be on Jimmy? Would that get him on like Jimmy Fallon, or do you have to be Rory winning the Grand Slam to go on there?
I think it would, but maybe what we do, and we would not do this, but it would be funny. He wins and we throw a media embargo on him, and he only does Barstool shows.
Wow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because then it's like, if you want to hear from this guy, I mean, it would hurt his reach because we're not Jimmy Fallon and we're not blah, blah, blah. But if you were just like, he's not talking to anybody except if you're under the Barstool umbrella, he'll do all Barstool shows and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, it would be, I don't really know what would happen. I mean, especially at Oakmont, if he won that thing at Oakmont, like, I don't know if they would give him like an honorary membership at like Oakmont all of a sudden, like his whole life, his whole world, everything fucking changes at that point. Everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was just something I wanted to think about for a couple minutes. We can move on to something else because you don't want to get too wrapped up in it. It's going to be so.
Hope he's not listening to this. You can't be listening to this if you're like we're like jinxing
no, there's
him.
No way. But this is coming out. I don't know what's his tee time tomorrow.
6:45 a.m.
4 a.m. I think they got him playing in the darkness.
No, he ain't listen. This isn't.
He might hop. I mean, he might have some time today to hop on this very show. So if you do, we would have announced that from the beginning, so you would have already known. But we're still living in this time at 11 o'clock right now, Wednesday. He's going out for a practice round for 9 holes. He's going to hit the range. He said he had to pick up some family from the airport. Like, this guy's playing in the U.S. Open. Can we get like him? Can we get someone to pick up someone from the airport, like an Uber or something? Uber Black.
Get those people. Oh yeah, throw him in a nice one.
Like,
get him a nice.
What
Uber.
are we talking about? He's gonna go pick people up. I guess like when you're that good, like you just like live your life as if it's a regular day, and you just go and play golf the next day.
Dude,
you know,
I remember
it's his job, so it's like if you worked at an office, you'd like go pick up your family before work.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Remember when we saw almost literally ran into Rory McIlroy at the country club, and he was leaving, and he was like, "Yeah, I got to go pick up Poppy," and it's like, "Yeah, these guys got real lives. They just got to go do it, even during the biggest weeks of the year."
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the show. He's got a busy day. It's weird. You don't want to like bother him, obviously, with preparing for the U.S. Open, but it's also like it's Wednesday. It's like you should be pretty prepared at this point. Let's get out there and,
I just like to hear from him for like 10 minutes to be like, what are your thoughts? You're about to tee off at the U.S. Open. Where's your mindset? How are you feeling? This might all come crashing down. I mean, I won't say that, but like it could, like he's going to be so hyped. And then like that first tee shot, he could just be just out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's,
I mean,
U.S. Open.
He might not, because I think it's probably just going to be me and Frankie is the vibe I'm picking up. He might not want to just talk to me and Frankie before teeing it up at the U.S. Open. You know what I mean?
No, he will, dude. He loves the podcast. He was so pumped about being on the podcast last week. He very much enjoys being on. So, but yeah, he's got an early tee time. I think that's great. Me and Frankie were talking about. I think it's great. He's like 6:45 or something on Thursday morning. I think that's a dream. You get out there, it's calm.
Yeah.
Right? The world hasn't woken up yet, like Frankie was saying. It's like everything's calm. The wind is usually calm. The world is calm. And then next thing you know, you're through 9 holes. There's a little bit of dew on the ground. So it's not as firm. It's not as fast. You can maybe take advantage. And then by the time you're into the mix of things and you start to hear the hoopla and the sun starts to dry everything out, you're halfway through your round. Maybe you posted a nice score on the front.
Like, who's Docherty? Who's Docherty? Who's this guy?
Give us that graphic of him birdieing the first hole of his tournament and he's leading the U.S. Open. Just give us that, please. Or maybe like everyone else that's in front of him bogeys and he's just leading the U.S. Open at even par as the lowest number on the golf course. I don't give a shit. Just be leading that U.S. Open. That would be great.
Wow.
I'm nervous for him. I'm very nervous for him out there.
Exciting stuff, man.
It'll be great.
Very exciting stuff.
There's another great story. Matt Vogt. Did you see this guy who's the dentist? This guy caddied at Oakmont for 6 years, and then now he's a dentist, and he hits the ball a mile. He did some long drive stuff, but he qualified in. He's an amateur, so I believe he's just playing amateur golf, fixing teeth. He's filling cavities. And
my dentist is retiring. So maybe I need to get to this guy. I just got a notice that my dentist is retiring. He asked me to come in for one last cleaning on the 26th before he goes. I was like,
no way.
I'll just figure it out.
Sounded like a one-day contract.
Like a retirement tour for a cleaning?
I think he's doing a retirement tour.
That's like a Seinfeld episode. Dentist doing a retirement tour. Come back in for one cleaning.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's unbelievable. You got to get back in here, dude. I'm retiring. You got to get in here for a cleaning, just a ceremonial last cleaning.
Pilots will do that. I haven't had it happen on my planes yet, but like I'll see videos of the pilot like stepping up in front of everybody before the flight goes off, and he's like, "This is my retirement flight." So, and everybody's hooting and hollering, going crazy.
Don't they usually spray water over the plane?
What do you mean?
Yeah, they do that.
Like the fire department will come and spray water over I think they do
tunnel,
that for a
like
pilot's
water
last
tunnel.
flight and for a plane's last flight, like before they retire the actual plane.
You're kidding.
No, it's really cool.
Never seen that.
They shower him like it's like a whole thing.
They get the fire hoses out. Maybe I want to say they do maybe 3 fire hoses on each side. They shoot them up like a tunnel, turns it into like a water tunnel.
I love/hate also when, like, if someone's hitting 1,000,000 miles on your plane, they'll like call them out, and people are like, nobody really claps. There's like a couple claps, and it's like, we don't care about this random guy traveling, not seeing his family for 10 years.
Yeah.
like this guy, that's a guy who's just like hasn't been around. Bro, if you travel if you had 1,000,000 miles traveling, you have not seen your family in a decade.
Unless they're with you.
You got to get to a soccer game or something, you know. You got some parenting.
It's always
there.
They're never with their family. It's always the guy in first class with a gold watch who like has like a nice shirt on. He doesn't even know his 4th kid's name. Never met him.
Dude, last year I took like 110 flights. This year I have like 13 because I had 1 kid. Like I can't, like if I still did 110 flights, I don't even know. I'd just live. I wouldn't have all of this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have family.
No.
That would be insane. 1,000,000 miles,
like
dude, I look at my Delta lifetime miles and I think I'm at like, actually, let me see.
Dude, I looked the other day. I'll be curious to see what yours is. I think we've been traveling
A
to
lot.
us what seems like dogs for 4 or 5 years now.
Hard.
I think but I'm just saying, like, in the past couple of years, all of us have been. But like, I think I'm at like 260,000.
I'm at 357,954.
Yeah, and like, think about how much you've
That's
traveled
just on Delta.
Right.
So we might be close to fucking 500,000 though.
Yeah.
Totally.
31 years old.
I don't have
like, you know what I mean? Like I'll hit 1,000,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be that fucking washed up gold chain fucking piece of shit.
Piece
But
of shit.
I used to be a piece of shit.
It's going to take longer because, like you said, now you got 1 and it's a little bit less. So yeah, I mean, I just don't like whenever they call that guy out. It's never the response that they think they're going to get. People are just like,
We had
let's go. Let's get these cookies and chips out to us. I'm ready to go.
we had a 50th birthday yesterday. I thought that was fine. We did they didn't make us sing. They just did a in unison happy birthday Lisa or whatever her name was.
Even that.
Dude, did you see the viral video of the girl singing Let It Go on the plane to Disney? She like took the microphone and sang to the whole entire, like they had been stuck on the plane for 4 hours.
That was one of those where I read the headline and I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
I mean, all the comments were so funny. It's like, this girl, like this is how you turn your kid to a piece of shit. Like thinking that they are the center of the universe, that like, oh, we're all stuck on this plane. So like, oh, please go bless the rest of the flyers with your voice and sing this song, because everyone's so bored and they all want to just like hear you sing. Like you're gonna help their day. And everyone's like, turn it off. They're screaming like, turn it off.
I mean, you're an audience member being a hostage in that situation.
Yeah, you're holding the entire plane hostage. No one asked for it.
Nope.
It's a parent being like, go grab that mic and sing because you have the best voice in the whole world, sweetie. That sucks.
That's really bad. Really
that
bad.
video
Awful.
sucked.
Get the greatest game in golf gaming. It's PGA Tour 2K25. It's your ticket from unknown to unstoppable. Don't miss the limited time deal. Get 25% off the standard edition digital PGA Tour 2K25 on Xbox and Steam. On sale now on Xbox and Steam. The Xbox offer ends June 24th, 2025, and the Steam offer ends June 26th, 2025. So again, make sure you get there before these offers end. The discount based on 2K's SRP Xbox offer ends June 24th, 2025, and the Steam offer ends on June 26th, 2025. Terms apply. But we love this game. We love 2K, and they've outdone themselves yet again.
Yeah, PGA Tour 2K25. OAKMONT is in the game. It's perfectly built. It's a 2K official golf course. The US Open is in PGA Tour 2K25, so go play it now. We also, in the Barstool Golf Society, we have the Rumble in the Rough, our own open that is now at OAKMONT. It's open for 7 days. I made it as hard as I possibly could. Extremely fast greens, high winds, furthest back tee boxes. It's an amazing game. I'm going to go give it a shot tonight. I'm going to play in the Barstool Golf Society. I'm going to see how I do. There's people in there that shoot 65 under par. I don't know how they do it, but the majority of the regular people that go out and try and win this thing, it's very, very hard. People are saying that the third round pin placements have made them want to stop playing the game because it's so hard, which is, I think, what Oakmont's supposed to do. So PGA Tour 2K25, join the Barstool Golf Society, play in the US Open. I'm telling you, there's nothing like playing a major, especially a virtual one. It just, all the grandstands have all the logos on it. It's really cool. The way that they got it all licensed out, it's amazing. So make sure you go check it out. And our logo is littered throughout this game, by the way. Like, people can get these little banners. You can like win and acquire banners that have Barstool Golf like behind your gamer tag, or like right next to your name. It can have the B Cross T, or it could be the Tiger Swing crew neck, the progression crew neck. You can get all of our merchandise in there. There's always updated merchandise in that game, so make sure you're checking it out. Really, really great time to have PGA Tour 2K25.
Buy now. That is PGA Tour 2K25. Go buy it now. This episode is brought to you by Brex. That's BREX. Any finance folks listening? Well, guess what? We found something you'll love as much as the excitement of golf's major championships. Meet Brex. It's a modern finance platform built to give you both control and speed. Look, we use this. It's incredible, simply just from the expensing standpoint. How awesome this app is. Take a picture of the receipt, bang, it just completes it, finishes out that expense immediately. Whereas beforehand, we were using a competitor. You had to fill out 37 different categories for every single purchase that you made. It was an absolute nightmare. It took half your life, basically became a full-time job, turned you into like an accountant. This, bang, app, simple, easy, quick. Brex is awesome.
It really is simple. And I think probably for a couple of years when we were using our old system, I left a bunch of money on the table because I was just like, you know what, man? My time is worth more than sitting here and hitting a million different categories for one receipt, and then I got to move on to the next one. It's like, forget it. But with Brex, it's the complete opposite. As soon as I get a receipt, bang, take a picture of it, throw it in the system. It autofills almost everything, fill out a couple things, and you submit. Takes maybe 45 seconds for every receipt, and you're just rolling along with your day. It's not frustrating. It's very easy. Brex has been a godsend for me. I expense absolutely everything, and they make it so simple.
Yeah, it really is. And the fact that they tell you exactly how much you're getting back in an email, they're like, this is how much it all kind of accumulated to. That's something that the other ones that we used to have didn't have. And I always used to like try and do the math in my head on like exactly how much did it match up to my credit card statement. Now it's like, bang, so easy. The technology is far and far superior to anything we've ever used. It's a no-brainer to switch to this.
This has earned them the trust of 30,000 companies, including ours. You can learn more at brex.com/grow. That is BREX.com/grow.
Parent update, I guess I'll give. A lot of people always reach out to me. It's been a month. Exciting stuff still. We're absolutely loving every single day. The sleep is obviously really, really difficult. I mean, I don't know that baby Frankie could be any better at this stage than he currently is. He does not cry unless he has to eat or he has pooped and soiled himself. That's the only times that he actually makes noise. So like, there's never been a time where you're holding him and you're like, why are you crying? So that's been 30 something days that we've like really gone each day where we're like, we know what's going on. He sleeps great. He sleeps great for his age. So like, they want to wake up every 2 to 3 hours. They want to be fed. So like it's those twilight zone hours of like 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m. where I was telling Riggs this before we all hopped on. It's like you do that when we're on the road and we're going to an event, and then the next morning we got to wake up at like 4 a.m. and get to an airport. Those days feel like twilight zone days. You're just kind of like in a daze. I've been doing that for like a month straight. So it's actually pretty wild where you're like, how many days has got like
Jesus
you
Christ.
Can't even fucking believe how tired you kind of are. And just the rest of the day is so tired. So it's either like we got to get cocaine or coffee. One of the two needs to be a part of the daily routine.
Does Hannah drink coffee?
We don't drink coffee.
Boys and girls.
Dude, I know. It's
gotta,
like
not for pleasure. Like I get coffee now. I'm like, oh, so lovely. I'm going to get coffee. But you guys need it for function. You guys need it.
We got to start.
Or cocaine, like you said, or cocaine.
One of the two needs to be a part of the rotation because that's outrageous by the time like 4 o'clock hits and you're just like, wow, I am so tired. But he's such a good baby. Everyone's been loving him, and it's been a rotating door. It's like Hotel Borelli. People just coming to see him. Like yesterday, we had like 6 different people come to see him on a Tuesday, where it's like, wow. And like Hannah wasn't feeling great, and so it's like now you're like I'm holding him more, and it's like you don't want to get him sick or get a cold, and then people come in, they're coughing. It's like it's chaos. The first month is pretty much chaos, but we're absolutely loving every single day. He's been great. One of the funny things that I've noticed is like the parents, I'm sure people do this, but like me and Hannah will talk to the baby about things we hate about like each other. Like we'll be like, and dude, this is crazy how often it's happening. Like I'll be changing him and I'll be like, mommy just didn't want to bring the bottle over here. Right? So like, dude, it's crazy. So like she'll be like holding him and he'll be crying for a second. And she'll be like, well, daddy had to go golf yesterday. So, and she's talking right to him. It's the most passive aggressive conversation through the child that I hope other parents are doing it, because it's happening every single day. And Kyle Timms might be able to allude to it a little bit more, because he's like a dad of like a million.
I also know people do that with their pets. Like they'll do that.
Oh, dude.
Where they'll be like, I guess I'll take you out again because daddy's watching the Cubs game. It's like
the lazy piece of shit watching the floor.
Like the other day, like I was like, I just want to go play like NHL or PGA. Like I want to go play Xbox. I haven't played in a month. And then so like I handed him to her and she's like, well, daddy's got to go play video games now. She walks to the couch. I'm like, don't fucking, I'm like, this kid is like, he's our therapist. Like, you know, we're like telling him all the things. It's so funny, dude. It always happens at the changing table too. Like daddy's just being slow. It's okay. You know, he's just getting the wipes.
I can't imagine you guys are the only ones who do that. There's
Kyle, did that ever come? Dude, Kyle's laughing.
Kyle's in. My brother's here.
God. For my birthday, I just got a golf net from a backyard just to hit golf balls. I don't even I don't even have to go to the course. I was out there. I hit like 3 golf balls, and she came out on the deck and was like, "You about done?" Or I just walked out here.
I just got out here.
Oh
like,
my
all right,
God.
Daddy needs to work on. Daddy wants to break 100.
Yeah.
Daddy, that's what he wants. That's
it's like that. It's like that fun. I mean, we both like laugh about it too. It's like, and we notice that we're doing it. So, I mean, it's been, you're just in the trenches together, and like, it's just like, you're trying to keep this child alive together. It's a very, very fun experience, but it gets hard, man. Like it really does throw a wrench in things. Like it's just like, it's a battle, man. Like you're like, everything that you've known going into this is like different. You know what I mean? Your whole life has now changed. So,
and to me, I think what would throw me off as a guy who knows nothing about any of this is that your regular life keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it'd be great if it were like, all right, we had this kid and now, and it sounds like it's like this is all of our energy and this is where we're focusing all of it, which is what you're supposed to do. But like everything for everyone is still going on. Like that is what would throw me off a little bit, where I'm like, I haven't slept. And also like the world is still on fire. Like, and that to me is, and I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir right now. I'm not a guy who's living this situation at all, but I'm sure that's got to be part of it.
No, and it's very like, I guess like schedule regimented right now. It's not like he's just like so young still, where it's like, all right, like it's every day feels like the same, where I feel like in a couple weeks and like months, as he starts to gain like a personality, you'll start to like, and sleeps a little bit longer. You'll get like that life back of like things are starting to feel a little normal. You can go out and do regular things. He's going to be awake at certain hours. Like, you know, like when he's going to be around and not like sleeping. Like right now, it's like it's happening so spontaneous. Like he's hungry at random times. He goes to sleep at random times. So right now it feels like there's no way there's a regular life going on outside. But we're like right there. We're knocking on the door. He's so close. Like last night he slept for 5 hours, which was like, we both woke up at like 4 o'clock. And then he started like kind of making noise, and we're like, I was like, did you get up with him at 1 or 2? She's like, no, did you? I was like, no. I was like, is he okay? And then like we looked at him, he was just sleeping. I'm like, we looked at the camera and it tells you he slept for 5 hours and 10 minutes. We were like, what the fuck? So that was our first, like we high-fived in bed. We're like, that's insane.
There we
first
go.
time we touched in like 8 weeks. It's like, here we go. Let's go.
There we go. All right. So it's happening. That's
unbelievable. Great. That was a good moment. So
that's awesome.
But it's very, very fun, man. It's great. And everyone's just loving him. My dad is obsessed. My mom's obsessed. They're obsessed with him. Everyone's obsessed with babies. Obsessed.
Yeah.
They can't get enough of them.
I was going to say, it's such an interesting concept of like, you're going, you know, all the people stopping by Hotel Borelli, parents being obsessed with it. It's like, you are going to meet a new person, like intentionally, that you're meeting, that's going to be a huge part of your life. Like obviously you guys are the parents, so you guys are the parents forever. But like when people stop by the house, or like this is gonna be like your grandchild, you're like meeting a new human that is going to be it's a new member of your family, like whether they want to or not. It's not like they earned it through like through being a friend that now is like slowly becoming a member of the group. It's like, no, this is now like you're a huge part of our life instantly, and you're meeting that new person. That's like such an interesting concept.
I thought about that yesterday because Big Rob is in town from Nashville. We had a wedding, which I have to tell a story about that. But like his dad, they were golfing out here. They actually played Mill Pond, which we played for Breaking 90.
We did, yeah.
And like Ralph had to come see the baby, and he was so excited. He like came inside and he looked at Frankie and held him. And I was thinking to myself as he was doing it, I'm like, he just met a new human that like he's excited about. You know what I mean? Like like that was like a cool experience. Like he met a new human that's part of like the family now, which was like so weird to really think about.
It's true. What's a Big
insane.
Rob story?
Well, we got congratulations to my buddy Steve and his wife Felicia. We went to their wedding. It was at a golf course, this place, Smithtown Landing, on like the North Shore, Long Island. Big Rob's in the wedding party, and he's out. I mean, you saw him in mine. He's the most outrageously tall, big person of all time. I've told stories about this guy for 6 years on this podcast. He's an outrageous human being. He just always is. He's just like every situation he's ever been in is insane. So we're at this wedding, and it's outdoors, and like I said, it's a public golf course. There's a lot of traffic going around. There's golf carts everywhere, but it's an outdoor ceremony, and we're in between these like two buildings with like kind of like lakes or like rivers in the background. It's like a marshy area. It's a nice little backdrop, and all of a sudden, like halfway through, this noise comes crashing in. It hits the roof, comes down, hits the ground, all of a sudden hits somebody. Everyone's screaming, "Oh!" And Big Rob has the ball in his hand, and he's running around with this golf ball. And he's like, "Oh!" He's like going nuts, like to every single person. He's like, "I got the golf ball." And then he just takes the ball and he throws it like out of just chaos. Like, and we're like, "No!" Like, that's a lucky golf ball. He threw it into like the marsh.
Oh.
And we all were like, what the fuck just happened? So I tweeted out, I said, Big Rob just got hit by a golf ball while standing at the altar as like one of the groomsmen. Turns out that I tweeted that in real time. Turns out the reality of the situation is it actually hit my buddy, the best man at my wedding, Kyle, who's Robbie Berger from Brilliantly Dumb. Robbie Berger's cousin, Kyle Berger, got hit square in the nutsack by a golf ball and had to like really like hold firm because this is the middle of a wedding ceremony, and Robbie caught it. And dude, we have audio of it because I guess they were recording it. Listen to it hit the nutsack. Listen to this contact. You're gonna hear it hit the ground, and then you're gonna hear it hit his nutsack, and then you're gonna hear Robbie go nuts. Let me get this here for you. Ready for this? It's gonna come in. San Diego where they got to see lots and lots of flowers. Oh, Jesus. That's a sign. Did you hear the little?
Yeah.
No way.
Dude, it's like
right there. Dude, it hits the ground and hits nuts. Listen.
Oh. Dude, it's like when I hit Jake Bass in the nuts at that TaylorMade shoe.
That is
same sound.
Bone.
Dude, Kyle's probably pissing blood. Like that's that's bad luck. I mean, not bad luck, but that's like what a happenstance for that to happen.
Oh my god,
the worst thing that can happen.
Outrageous.
That's so funny.
So
funny.
Didn't get hit. So it's like, but the way that he caught it and threw it, and then he ended up finding the golf ball. He went out into this like marshy area and found the golf ball. He was sweating, hair everywhere. Just an insane thing to just see it. And then we like don't know where the ball came from because there's no hole like around that particular part. So like someone either hit the most errant tee shot of all time, like legitimately 400 yards left, or someone like threw the ball and like tried to kill somebody. It was chaos.
They're attacking the wedding with a golf ball.
Dude, this thing came in hot.
That was like when that ball came in hot at at Spanish Bay. You caught it. Remember that?
I told that
Unbelievable.
Story. Yep.
It's just like
doing the Dad Bod Classic at Spanish Bay. That first tee box is behind the Hotel of Spanish Bay. going adjacent to all the rooms. And when you walk outside of the main lobby of Spanish Bay at Pebble Beach, you're basically walking toward the tee box, but you're on the other side of the building.
Right.
So you walk out. So it's me and Trent, right? It's you and I.
Yep.
And we're walking, and as I'm walking like this, a ball hits the ground and goes right into my hand. I didn't even have to try and go out and catch it. It actually went into my open hand, and I looked down and it said a Dad Bod Classic ball, and it turned out like one of the guys, it was like Delanian or whatever that kid's name is, just hit the most. I mean, that drive is like 110 yards left.
Yeah.
And it went right into my hand. So I went up to the first tee because it was right there, and I'm like, whose ball is this? They were going nuts. Like, oh yeah, he just hit that thing.
It was such a natural catch. It wasn't, you didn't scramble for it. You weren't like, oh, here we go. You just sort of in stride scooped it like a third baseman, like Olang, like bang. It was, that reminded me of that Big Rob story.
I was definitely Delaney, and he's gonna love the whatever that kid's name is comment too. What a
yeah. I mean, that guy, he's the most interesting cat in the world.
He's great. He's great.
Just sits there, laughs. Just he doesn't golf in the actual event. It's like I'm always just like so interested in him. He goes in the spa, he's like always swimming and shit.
Yeah, he's great. Steve. I love Steve. All right, boys. I've got I will say between now and the next time that we do this podcast, we will have played the $25,000 match, and it's turning into be quite the logistical thing because Kyle, who I'm playing, is he was like, I'm gonna show up with the cash in like a duffel bag. And I was like, well, then I'm going to show up with the cash in a duffel bag. And then I was like, well, we probably should get like security. We're going to be walking around with $50,000.
That's not a small amount of money
in cash.
$50,000 cash on the golf course.
Correct.
And so that's why I'm trying to be a little, coy with like when exactly it's going down. But between now and the next time we do this podcast, we will have played this match. And, I was doing all kinds of research with like, can I travel with that much cash? Turns out you can. Like TSA just might thumb through your cash and like ask you a couple questions to make sure you're not a drug lord, but otherwise you're totally fine. But we hit up security, Mike. We've got security that's going to be with us just in case. Armed and dangerous is what I hear. All and right. And Kyle's showing up with the cash. I think he's going to have a guy with him too. That's like, not security, but someone that could be a little bit of muscle. And so it's quite the environment. Quite the environment that we're going to have here, but it's happening. I saw Kyle tweeted at me last night that he's got the cash. I got to go to my bank and hope that they don't think, some sort of sketch ball going in there out of the clouds and being like, I need $25,000.
You redid your floors or some shit.
Going on the lam with $25K.
But yeah,
that's exciting though. That's going to be, people are almost everybody I run into is like, when's it happening? Hasn't been filmed yet. They can't wait for it. That one's going to be fucking awesome.
$25,000 match against a hater who called you out for having a vanity handicap, and for a guy that thinks that he can beat you and calls you out. You answer it on a freaking snap of a finger within seconds, just an instantaneous, yes, let's play. And now, a couple weeks later, you guys are both going to the bank, getting out $25,000 in cash and just playing a golf match. That is incredible.
And Brendan will tell you, I was hitting him up today being like, did we do any verification of this guy's handicap? Just because I was like, if he said he's a 7, but I was like, we're also just going off of just him tweeting that he's a 7. And I was like, people have executed much more sophisticated operations to hustle people out of like $10 at a pool hall than that. And we're going to play for $25,000. So I was like, if this guy just shows up, I was like, do we even know what this guy looks like? Because what if he shows up and it's like actually his cousin Bill, who's like a +4 and just beats me for $25,000? I was like, we gotta have some sort of verification here. Like, do we know what this guy's, is he actually a 7? Because again, if he shows up and he's like, oh yeah, he's actually a +4, like I'll just lose to a +4 for $25,000 on our own channel. So I think we've done some verification. We've poked around because he does stream MLB. He's like a big MLB streamer, so people know there's a lot of MLB contingent here in the Arizona area. So I am trying to do some last minute just verification, being like, I want to make sure we don't go get hustled out of $25,000 on my own channel. That would be kind of embarrassing. But I think he seems pretty damn legit in terms of the handicap. So it should be a great match. And we got security, which I've never played a golf match.
Is off and running. I do want to give a shout out real quick. I have to own up to something. I did a lot of tweeting and Instagramming about the hater being an original idea, which I stand by, because like 3 years ago, whenever the TaylorMade stripe ball came out, we were standing at a commercial shoot. That was probably like 3 years ago at this point.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we were
And
in LA.
Riggs came up to us. We were in LA. Riggs came up to us. He goes, I have this idea. I get the most hate in YouTube golf, and I just want to turn it into something. So, and I think it took like a year for guys to like kind of go through and comb through actual real people. I think that's a lot of the behind the scenes that people don't understand. Also, they're like, Riggs hand picks guys that he can beat. Well, first of all, like that's not true because he's lost matches. And second of all, it's really difficult to find someone to come on to our channel and be labeled as an internet troll. So finding the person that, number one, is the troll, and number two, has the right handicap that they're saying, and number three, agrees to do the video, are three pretty insane hurdles to jump over. So that's
And
number
scheduling.
one.
People have like
And
lives.
scheduling and like flying out
Yeah.
to Arizona and the whole deal. So that's like, it's just not as easy as just like picking the person out of like the Instagram comments and just like, all right, I want to play you, like, and everything has to be perfect. Like, it's pretty damn good for what it is. Like, it's gotten pretty close to perfect in terms of picking a guy just out of the comments and bringing him onto the tee box. The other thing I want to say is, so the DOD King has a series called The War on Weasels, where he released a video where he called out a guy, or a guy called him out, and he did a match against him for like $5,000. He posted that like 4 months before our first hater series. That's something that like I didn't know when I tweeted that. So I love the DOD King. I wanted him to know that I respect the DOD King and his war on weasels. Whether it be he was the first one to the YouTube and playing haters. I mean, now he plays like Grant in that thing. He plays Michael Morris. It's kind of like turned into something different. It's like his match series.
Yeah.
I do think Riggs probably gets the most hate in YouTube golf. So at the end of the day, that should be like kind of known as his series. But the DOD King, War on Weasels, go check it out. That guy's the best. I always give him a shout out whenever I hit a good drive off the deck. I like to give the DOD King some love.
So random that day that we met him, we ran into him at the park. And I didn't know who he was, and that was
so
years
funny.
ago.
I think that's when his first War on Weasels like came out. It was like that like week.
That was crazy. We met him. He was just this guy who was standing on the front. We were playing with Grant out at the park, weren't we?
Yeah.
And there was just this guy, and they were like, "Yeah, this is the DOD King." And we're like, "Let's see it." Threw a ball down and absolutely ripped a drive. He was something.
Regardless of how much hate that guy gets, because clearly he has a series as well. I love the DOD King because that day he won me over. He showed up to the tee box.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm the DOD King. We go, what the fuck does that even mean? He goes, all I do is hit drivers off the deck. And he's like a piece of shit the way he like conducts himself. He's so cocky and he's just right in your face. And then he backs it up. So he actually dropped it, like you're saying, and hit one like 325 yards with a baby cut right down the middle. And we lost our minds.
It was
so
awesome.
I wanted to give him his flowers. That's a great series that he's got going on. But Hater will continue to just keep running. It's just to me, whenever we do something that has meaning behind it, and it's not just going out there and playing meaningless golf. Like sometimes I know people like to watch that, and when we do that, but like it feels almost guilty when we like put a video like that out where there's no like real juice behind it and there's no meaning. Whether it's like Trent's trying to break 85 for the first time in his life, we've posted 45 attempts since breaking 100. We go out there every day with a meaning, and Riggs legitimately hates the fact that like this guy is being a piece of shit to him on the internet, and he wants to go out there and beat him. Everything's on the line for him
more than anything.
Not lose to an internet troll, and he goes out there and it's a meaningful match against pieces of shit that only want to drag people down the internet. That's where it becomes like that original feeling where it's like, let's actually like put something together here that feels real to us, and it's not just trying to get a click. So that's my piece on that. I think it's a great video. It might sound self-loathing that like, oh, we have like awesome stuff. I think it's a great series, and I hope people watch it.
No, I think we got to think our stuff is good. Otherwise, we're not, we wouldn't put it out. And I think with the hater series too, yeah, the comment, and again, I think 99% of people get all of it and trust that we just do the process the best we can. But like people can tell us what their handicap is, and then we look it up on Gin. And then outside of that, like we don't have the bandwidth to go like follow them for a week of playing golf and determine precisely how good or how not good they are. It's like if somebody submits their name, their handicap Gin index, we comb through and check it. And then there's also like a Goldilocks zone for the handicap for shooting these videos of like, if someone's a scratch golfer, a +2, the video doesn't work because they're just going to beat me. But also if someone's like a 15 handicap, like I don't think the videos are going to work because I'll most likely just beat them and it's not that exciting. So we have like a pretty straightforward, like not straightforward. We have like a tight little zone of whatever that might be, of within 5 strokes or whatever my handicap is, that we can play somebody. We got to find that they have a true history of hating, not that they saw a year ago we started posting hater videos and like started hating upon me just to get on a video. And then they also got to be responsive. And then 90% of the people are eliminated immediately by that, of like they're just out. So now we got to comb through, and there's like only 10 or 5% people left. Brendan and Kyle and these guys go through and do the best they can to be like, I've got a real live one here who fucking hates you, hates your game. He's been hating you for years. He's a 6 handicap. It's like, done. Let's do it and set it up. So it's not that easy to figure out. So a huge credit to those guys, because my favorite activity in the world is not combing through and seeing who hates me the most to like determine who we're going to play against. So it's like, I don't want to read that shit at all. So it's like Brendan and like Kyle do all of that. And
Kyle like jerking off reading it all. Like,
oh yeah.
This is great.
You've been at this since 2018. Oh yeah.
He actually does. He sends me just incredible text being like, look at this piece of shit that I got. He fucking hates you.
It's legitimately my favorite thing on earth.
Kyle hates the trolls, man.
This whole time I've been going at this guy on Twitter. Anyway, what I was going to say really quick about like the comments is, I've been seeing these comments where it's like, of course you find this guy that's this annoying, talking about this last guy from Philly. It's like, don't you think there's some correlation between willingly publicly commenting hate on a brand's account versus in real life being kind of a douchebag? Like there's a correlation there. It's not like we're just like, oh, hey, this guy sucks, let's get him. It's like, no, he's commenting publicly as an asshole. He's going to be an asshole.
Correct.
Exactly. That's and again, most people understand that. We're talking about like the loud minority and responding to stuff like that. But yeah, that is, I'm always amazed. Like, you found this like hateable person who played like shit. It's like, well, guess what? Playing on camera in a huge moment when you're like nervous and uncomfortable is way harder than just playing on a normal day. And also, guess what? Like, if you're a hater on the internet who sends like unsolicited mean messages and comments to strangers, there's a decent chance you're going to be an annoying fucking weirdo on camera.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's probably, and so, yeah. Anyways, I have a $25,000 match coming up pretty soon. So
awesome.
My dad texted me, he goes, just watch the hating Riggs. Now that's an asshole. He goes, Riggs let him off way too easy.
That is one of my great regrets, dude. I wanted to beat that young man like 7-6, and I should have. But
I think he meant like you like the guy was such a dick throughout the whole thing that once you were up, like you should have really been pounding him like verbally,
Yeah. It's hard. Like it's a little bit of like,
you take the high road. It's nice. I think people that are watching want that satisfaction of the guy getting like the guy crying. You know what I mean? Like make him cry. He's an asshole. Like, he's been so mean to you. Like, but it's not. It's a good play to like take the high road.
It's hard too when you are in an environment where you're playing golf with someone for like 4 hours to just be like a total prick to the person. It's like you're like, at some point you're talking, you're saying good shot to the other guy. You're saying like, oh, nice putt there. You're saying things like that because it's normal. And over like 4 hours, it's hard to hold up of like, fuck you, you piece of shit, after I beat him. It's like, no, dude, we've been here for 4 hours.
Showing your true personality that you are like an actually good guy. So like people just need to realize that like all this hate means nothing.
Well, I think so, right? Like, I kind of view it that way too. Of like, I don't, on a day-to-day basis, it would be just an outlandish thing for me to go over to someone after 15 holes and be like, that's what you get, you fucking bitch. Like, I don't know.
But as a viewer, like everyone hates him so much that they want him to feel the same things that he gave to you, but it's better to just beat him and walk away.
Yeah, that's sort of, but I will say there's a hater video that's already been filmed that's coming out.
Oh, right.
Gets as abrasive as you could possibly imagine and never really lets up the entire match. So I think people will feel pretty satisfied there. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know that there is any satisfaction with hating online. I think that's like kind of the whole point of it. It's like, unless, what are we going to execute this guy? It's like, no, it's just kind of these people suck. That's sort of my whole point. It's like, yeah, like hating against someone, like, you're probably pretty shitty if you're doing that. It's a weird thing to do. Sport Clips is dropping something huge this June, the Playmaker Scents. for a limited time, when you get the MVP haircut experience, aka the most relaxing haircut in the game, it's true. I've done it. They give you like a nice warm towel. They give you like a shampoo, massage your head. They'll trim up like your beard for you. It's a very nice experience. You can pick a brand new, relaxing scent for your hot steamed towel that they give you. Choose from a lineup of sports inspired scents like early morning practice air, smells like fresh grass, a cool breeze, and the start of a legendary season. Rawlings new leather glove. Oh, you get a little glove. We love the new glove smell. With warm, rich notes of leather, and then wild card for those bold or hungry enough to try it. Stadium buttered popcorn, which smells insane. Fun fact: it's actually the staff favorite among the Sports Clip crew. So guess what? This June, the Playmaker scents are available for your hot steamed towel and the MVP experience.
Another great thing about Sport Clips is there are locations everywhere. I was driving last week. I drove from Illinois to Wisconsin, and on my way, I was like, I need a haircut, and I just put it into my GPS, and I went to the Sport Clips in Janesville, Wisconsin. So shout out to Janesville, Wisconsin. The Sport Clips there, great service. I got the hot towel, I got the MVP treatment. But yeah, anywhere you are, pretty much, you just put Sport Clips into whatever GPS, and I guarantee one is going to pop up. You'll have a great experience, and you'll want to keep going back for every single haircut. I love Sport Clips. I can't speak highly enough about
That
it.
Rawlings leather smell, that is like, that brought me right back to, I used to put all my mitts in the oven and used to put that little oil in there and used to cook them up and try and get them soft. And that was like such a fun night of like putting rubber bands around the baseball glove,
Yeah,
putting them underneath your mattress, getting them in the oven, and then like pounding it with a baseball, and that smell of that Rawlings leather, man. Oh my goodness. I might just go to Sport Clips just to get that scent.
yep.
Really, really good. These scents are only around for June and then they're gone. So visit now and try them out. Sport Clips, it's a game changer. Offer ends June 30th, 2025 at participating locations only and where permitted by law. Go check out Sport Clips. Last thing, I think we're going to do a From the Gallery. Did you got some From the Galleries there? Voicemails lined up, Kyle Timms?
I do, and if I mess this up, I'm sorry.
It's okay. First time doing it.
I don't think Frankie will forgive you, but I will.
Frankie hates me, and it's
piece of
a
shit.
thing at this point, and I'm a father too. We could be father. I don't know. He thinks Jared's so cool.
Yeah, Jared is pretty cool. You're not that cool, which I agree with Frankie.
So cool,
but
man.
From the Gallery is brought to you by Truly Hard Seltzer and Truly Unruly Lemonade. People, we love lemonade. I love lemonade. It's 8% ABV. It's 100% delicious. Truly Unruly Lemonade's got a bunch of delicious flavors. Been having them at the Barstool Classic throughout the entire year and will the whole summer, and everybody loves them. They hit you pretty good, which is nice. You don't have to drink a trillion of them, and you can check them out at trulyhardseltzer.com. Truly Unruly Lemonade. They're great. Let's hear a voicemail if you do this properly, Kyle Timms.
Hey, fellas, it's Anderson from New Brunswick, Canada. Got a quick one for you. My question is, what do you guys think for a casual golfer the best handicap is? Obviously, he can be a low handicap. Everyone loves a low guy, but then in tournaments, he's got to shoot pretty solid or close to his cap. But then you get the high handicappers that may take golf not as serious and could have a day at maybe a play-in tournament or a 4-ball or whatever it is. Let me know what you guys think. Huge fan, and keep going strong, boys.
I'll say this on that front. I think I've long had the theory that about the handicap that me and Frankie we're relatively similar, is about the worst handicap that you can be. I think. Like I think we hover around 5-ish for the most part, and like I just think we're not good enough to really shoot like low scores that often ever, and we're just bad enough that we shoot like a lot of like mediocre scores. And when you play in a match, I just think like a scratch golfer is pretty goddamn consistently going to shoot like something pretty low, steady Eddie, make a ton of pars and win out in matches a lot. Or you get like a really good like 12 handicap or something, like not really good versus, but like just kind of a relatively consistent 12 who maybe they don't hit it that far. So they make a good amount of bogeys because par 4s take them 3 shots to get up there, but they're never really like hitting it out of play. is like the best handicap to be, is around like just a consistent 12 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right because, you know, I played a match last week against Big Rob and Kyle. They were in for the wedding, and we played and with my brother-in-law Nick, and it was me and a versus a 12 and two 25s, right? So I had to play pretty good golf to like keep up with that match, and we lost. Like me and the 25 lost to the 12 and the 25 because like Kyle shot an 85, I shot an 83. He was getting 6 or 7 off of me.
Yep.
And it's like I just can't keep up with that. I played poorly. I didn't shoot my 78 or 79 that I probably had to. And we lost the match by like 2. We lost on 17. So it's like it's a really hard spot to be because, like, you know, once in a while you'll hit that good 77, 78 that keeps your handicap where it is, and then you throw in a bunch of 84s. Like my scoring average right now is 81.5. It's like not enough. That's not good enough to win matches. So I'm losing a lot of matches. I'm losing a ton of money. It's frustrating. I'm in a bad spot. I just got to get better. I got to get better at putting.
Yeah, I think that's the right number. I think Riggs is right there. A really good 10 to 12 is kind of where you want to be if you're playing in matches.
Yeah, and I kind of say this about like the Barstool Classic too, where I'm like, if you really look at the teams that have won the Barstool Classic over the 6 years that we've done it, I believe this is year 7. There was one year during COVID where it was like an 11 and a 7 1. I think it was the 2 Johns, and they happened that year because of COVID during the summer leading up to the championship to be playing a ton more golf than they usually were because of COVID. A lot of people were working from home, the whole thing. Every other year, it's pretty much 2 golfers right around scratch that win it in the Barstool Classic. Now, that's 50% handicap, so you can understand. But I think the best combo, if you go into like a member guest or you go into a typical kind of like any handicapped event, if you've got someone around like between a 1 and like or between a scratch and like a 2, and then your teammate is around a 10 or 12, I think that's kind of the sweet spot where somebody can play steady Eddie and then somebody can play a little bit like loose and make a couple net birdies, and then you could go low. But it's probably just a little bit of bias because of us, Frankie, but I think around our handicap is the worst handicap to be.
The other bad spot to be is when you play with a bunch of scratch golfers and you're the guy getting pops when you're a 5, and then like you have to take advantage of those holes, and there's a lot of pressure on you. Like I played a match like this summer with Clutterbuck, and he was my partner, and I had to come up. Sorry, I'm eating a 1 bar.
Ooh, I had one last night. Nice.
Dude, I'm sitting here starving. I have a whole box. This is like, you know, I mean, it's good and bad because like we love to eat them, but like when they're right next to me, I'm just crushing protein,
pounding protein.
It's like there was like 5 holes where it's like, all right, you need to make a 4 here. Like we need to win this. We need to win this hole. And then when you don't, you feel like a real piece of shit, like the biggest piece of shit of all time.
Right?
Like, you're like for a 6, guys. Like Frankie had a pop there.
Because you're supposed to be good enough to make pars, but it's like, well, I'm just like not. Yeah, that's our answer on that one. Anybody got anything else? It's U.S. Open time, fellas.
Yeah,
it's exciting times.
I'm really excited to watch. I think it's going to be a disaster for some guys, and that is great television. Great, and Alistair being involved is like that's just a whole other element for us. So it's gonna be a great weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm nervous for Alistair, but I'm also really excited for him. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Oakmont, we don't get this that often. The hardest golf course in the world. These guys are about to play. So enjoy Oakmont. We will, scheduling wise, be back. We're gonna record right after the event on Sunday night, and then that will be out for your Monday morning commute and your Monday morning sitting in the office when you're hungry for all that U.S. Open content. What are you laughing about over there, Frankie?
What are you laughing at?
I always take a little gander on this hypothetical situation.
Oh,
Reddit.
Boy.
And there was one that tried. You get $100 million, but every spider you see gets 10% bigger than the last one. Do you take it?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I am so scared of spiders. It's my number one thing for sure.
Like, so you're denying 100 milli.
So I guess the question is, how often am I seeing spiders?
Dude, I think at some point later in life, these spiders get so fucking big that it's. I mean, you see a decent amount of spiders, right?
Yeah, where was I? I can vividly remember seeing one recently, and if like. Now the next one I see is a little bit bigger. I think, by the time I'm like 60 and I've lived a great life because I got $100 million, so I'm in some beach house somewhere chilling. But a spider's gonna come up to me, sit next to me, and have a cocktail with me. Is how big it's gonna be. So like,
dude, I think it would get like the size of like the Empire State Building at some point.
right? It's like you got to call in like the military to be like figure out why is there a huge spider in New York City. And the thing for me is I really am like spiders are my number one thing that I'm afraid of. People are deathly afraid of snakes. I don't get that one. I don't give like snakes. I'll pet a snake if I have to. I put one on my shoulders. I think we were in Australia that one time.
Yeah.
I don't care about snakes. Spiders, something about their fucking legs and the way they crawl. It fucking freaks me out.
Dude, I was taking a poop. I was just relaxing. Sitting on the toilet.
That's your me time now, right?
Yeah, and I look out, and we have like a little like kind of we have the bathtub right across from us. Like it's not attached to the shower. It's like a jacuzzi tub, and you're looking right beyond my knees. I see this daddy long legs, like a little skinny daddy long legs. So it's got the little body, but it's got the long skinny legs, and it's just going through the tub. Blah. And I'm staring at it, and I'm watching it just like slowly just go through life, like walking around this empty tub. And I'm like, am I really gonna, and I don't know if this is because I just became a dad, but something came over me where like, am I really gonna step on this life and just end its life right there? I'm staring at it thinking like, what's it thinking? Why is it in this house? Like, how did it get here? And I'm just gonna just step on it because I don't like to look at it. You know what I mean? So there was a part of me that was like, I'm not gonna do that, right? So I go out to Hannah, I'm like, you got to deal with this spider. I'm like, I don't want to kill it. So what do we do? I'm like, should I take it in a cup and bring it outside? She's like, Daddy doesn't want to deal with the spider. She's like looking at Frankie. Daddy doesn't want to deal with the spider. It's going to bite Frankie. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll deal with it. So then I ended up turning on the tub water and I flushed it down the drain because I'm like, maybe it'll just make its like Charlotte's Web way down the drain. It'll just find a new life. It'll go down the drain. And I even closed the drain. Like I turned the knob, it shut it. I'm like, no chance that thing comes back. I turned the water on for a decent amount of time. It went right down the drain. Next day, it's fucking back in the tub.
No way.
So then Hannah went in and just stepped on it. She's like, I don't even
Oh, yeah.
But
Good.
then I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I gave you a second chance at life and you came back. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I felt
they're idiots.
Bad. But you ever feel that sometimes or just something comes over you where you're like, am I going to step on this thing? Maybe not spider. Just like any
not with spiders. Insect. Spiders, I think I'll take every single spider out that I see. So if you want to, please don't pull up because I'm going to be scared when I'm doing it. But if you pull up on me and you're a spider, it's over, pal. It's over. I hate spiders.
I would kill spiders too. Squishing them and stuff.
Got a lot of nature things going on around me. In our backyard, we have like this little small gazebo thing and we have a fan in there and there is a bird's nest on the fan and it's just like a nice comfortable safe spot for I guess a bird to make a nest because it's covered and it's elevated. And I went back there to go look at it and I was going to take it off and the bird was in there sitting on eggs. So then I'm like, do I stop this process? And I didn't. So it's still there. And I don't know how many days can go by for the bird's eggs to hatch. I want to get rid of this thing, but I can't see if the eggs are in there. I'm like freaking Snow White over here.
Yeah, dude, you're like, who was the guy? The nature guy who unfortunately passed away?
Irwin?
Steve Irwin. You're Steve Irwin. I'm like that with pretty much everything. Not everything, but things that aren't spiders for sure. But like there was in Florida, there's all these little lizards, little geckos that fly around everywhere. They're on the ground everywhere. One got into my house a couple weeks ago and I could have just squashed it, but I put it in a cup and I put it outside. So I don't want to just stomp on a little lizard. He was a cute little guy.
No, you can't hit a lizard. Lizards are, I like lizards.
Spiders though. I'll light you on fire.
So that's that. US Open time.
Enjoy OAKMONT. I can't wait to watch. We will be back Monday morning for a little US Open recap show. So enjoy the week. Let's go, Alistair, and hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.